Well, guys, it happened again. The ratings are down for SmackDown. So, guys, welcome to the SmackDown review. This is episode 3 on Fox. And I'm continuing reviewing this show because, this is interesting. It's on Fox. I want to see where this goes. This is a big network. We're talking about, not cable anymore. They haven't been on a non-cable station in years. Last time was on UPN, or when they had Main Event. Remember, it was on NBC. We haven't had a Main Event in a long time. So, to have them back on Fox, I think it's means for interest. And I said that from the beginning. And I'm holding true to my word. So, I haven't been reviewing Raw because, first of all, they're not even focusing on Raw. They're not even putting that much effort into Raw. So one of the big stories here is, I don't know if Bruce Pritchard started writing on this show, but Bischoff is out of there. He's been fired. He's gone. Now, I was planning on doing a separate video about it yesterday. And I just decided, I'll just talk about it in the SmackDown video. It was getting a little bit late yesterday. I was tired from work. So I decided, you know what? Let's just talk about it. I had every intention of doing a SmackDown review. So I was like, let's just talk about it in the SmackDown review. And so the thing is here, it's like they blamed Bischoff. And I said right from the beginning, I said, it's not going to matter if Bischoff is there. It's not going to matter if Heyman is the head of Raw, because I'm like, this is a much different era than 2002, 2003, or even 2004. We're talking about 2019 WWE, where it's all politically correct, tiptoe around everything, don't take any chances, play it safe, global appeal. Vince McMahon has forgotten, what it's like to have a company that really generates interest. And for people that, talk about, my AEW reviews and, every time I do any sort of wrestling review on any wrestling program, they're always like, oh, you're always bringing up the Attitude Era. I'm sorry if I do that all the time. But then again, I'm not. It's more like sorry, not sorry. Because I'm sorry if I have standards and I'm not going to lower them. First of all, let me ask a question. Why should I lower my standards when I've seen the best wrestling? And I've mentioned it. It's not just the Attitude Era. I'm also a very big fan of the Ruthless Aggression Era. Though not as good, there were still so many great matches, great storylines, great characters, great wrestlers during that time. How am I going to ignore that? And also, early TNA, also great material. I talk about these things all the time. Maybe not so much the early TNA days, but I brought that up more on social media. So if I converse with you on social media, you've probably heard it there. So anyway, let's talk about SmackDown here for a moment. And I think before we even get started in the review, I probably should talk a little bit about the ratings here. So Eric Bischoff is gone. So okay, so he caused the ratings to drop drastically last week, right? So we gotta get him out of there. It's not Vince McMahon's fault. It's not the 2,300 guys on creative. It's not the fact that we haven't built any stars. We're headed into Fox, but even one of our biggest stars who's interviewing with GQ, like Roman Reigns, we can't even put him in the spotlight where he looks like he means something to this company. Basically, their only trick they had up their sleeves from since debuting on Fox is The Rock. Besides The Rock appearance, what else can we really point to that was great or substantial? I was really sitting back and thinking about it when watching this show. I'm like, what did they really do on all 3 episodes? Last week was a complete travesty. This was a little bit better than last week because we didn't have so much of the draft. I think that was by default. But even though this was more, I think they basically killed it last week. Not in a good way, like, oh yeah, they killed it. I mean, they killed all their momentum last week. They did the draft. That was horrible. That show just, I mean, I don't know when it's your second show in, you know, how you expect to get any viewers with that type of material. Like, are people just supposed to sit there and enjoy, you know, people that they might have not even heard of? Because remember, the 3.9 million people that they drew, that, you know, that right there, nearly 4 million people. What a great rating that they had. You know, for today's WWE product, you know, that's great. So, you know, but they dropped drastically, and I don't know, you know, when you've got a bunch of people tuning in for the first time in years, or possible new viewers to Fox, I don't know how you really think that, you know, you're going to hold people's attention when, first of all, the first week's show, right, you know, after the first segment was done, there's not really many things that you could point to on that first episode of SmackDown that were that great, besides stuff with The Fiend. And there was nothing really overly interesting with The Fiend. He's just a cool looking character, but they didn't do anything great with The Fiend besides him appearing, you know, and attacking Rollins. I mean, there was nothing really to really speak of. So they got rid of Bischoff. I don't know. This is something that they've always done with the draft. It was just more boring than ever. I don't know why Bischoff got blamed. He didn't deserve to get fired because we all know it's not just Bischoff. Pretty sad. I mean, I thought when they, you know, announced him, you know, being an executive producer, I thought, like, okay, so this means that he's going to be on TV. He had like one backstage segment, and that was it during the Raw reunion. And that was about it. He was gone. He was gone, right? And that was like back in August. So was he an actual executive producer for creative? So were they actually, I thought that was like a kayfabe role they gave him. Turned out that he was actually, the WWE was actually announcing his real position, I guess. So I don't understand this. It's like, so there's kayfabe, but we're still telling you who's on creative? Like, what? What kind of weird dynamic is that? But anyway, you know, for people who don't believe me, who say, oh, ratings, or, you know, ratings don't really matter anymore, let's take a look right here, right? So here's comicbook.com. So here we go. It was another rough week in the television ratings for WWE Smackdown on Fox, the third edition of the show since moving networks. This week's Smackdown drew an average of 2.442 million viewers on Friday night, according to Showbuzz Daily. This is down nearly 16% from last week's show that averaged 2.899 million viewers in the overnights. Since debuting on the network on October 4th, a broadcast which drew 3.869 million viewers, SmackDown has seen its viewership drop a staggering 37% in just 2 weeks' time. And if you read on, to be fair, they start talking about, you know, they won with key demographics, you know, and things like that. And they also then go on to talk about, what else did they say here? They said that SmackDown was number one for the night on network television with a 0.55 rating in the 18 to 34 age group demographic. So, like, there's like small victories, but in the overall, you know, a story of things, it's a disaster. It's been a flat out disaster. No matter how you slice it, it's been bad. It's been really, really bad. So let's talk about this show. Let's get into depth here. Let's see what happened on the show, what occurred, why it was so bad. Like I said, it's better because it wasn't all about a draft, but, you know, we're going to get into it we're going to talk about, what happened on this show. So Roman Reigns defeated Nakamura by disqualification in the first match when Baron Corbin interfered. He hit him with the scepter. Daniel Bryan comes out to save him. Here's the thing. So they say that Baron Corbin made a comment about, the Rock. So, The Rock is nowhere to be seen, so he's blaming Roman Reigns because he's a family member. I mean, instead of calling out The Rock, I guess because The Rock is not going to come back. See, that's the problem about having The Rock there. He's going to be there. He's going to insult Corbin. There's no point to it because he's going away. So, entertaining segment or not, now we're left with, them trying to develop some sort of plot. How are we going to have Baron Corbin, Roman Reigns have a feud? And first of all, Roman Reigns is supposed to be a main event player. I've said it time and time again. I like both Roman Reigns and Baron Corbin a whole lot. I think there's so much potential and it's wasted. If you don't like Roman Reigns, it's probably because the way how creative has done him a massive injustice. Baron Corbin in the same vein. These are two guys that look like they belong. Corbin has improved so much on the mic, so has Reigns. When these guys go out there, they're one of the few that look like pros. I mean, just look at Roman Reigns in the ring, and then go look at the mess that you have over on Dynamite. And I know people are going to be like, oh, you're saying Roman Reigns. Yeah, I am saying Roman Reigns is a better worker than most of those guys. This guy understands how to put together a match where he doesn't need to be doing 1,000 high spots and somehow comes off more believable, more entertaining. Watching the match doesn't give me a headache, doesn't have me face palming every 2 seconds. So, I don't understand. We didn't even hear what did Baron Corbin have a problem with it on social media? I don't understand this. First of all, we're going back to a feud from a year ago. They have no other ideas. And so Roman Reigns, this guy has this great story, surviving cancer, coming back and everything. And, WrestleMania, it's just him versus Drew McIntyre in a plain match. Ever since coming back, they haven't been doing anything with Reigns. A horrible storyline with him and Eric Rowan. Rowan and Harper are nowhere to be seen. We're just done with that storyline. It's gone. Nothing else. There's no mention of these guys. I don't even know if they were drafted. I don't really even care, to tell you the truth. Not that I don't like Harper and Rowan, but you know what I mean. It's this whole draft thing was such a mess. They had, for example, Alexa Bliss. Well, we'll talk about that later. Just people going back and forth between shows. They were drafted and they were redrafted. It couldn't get any worse. You just cap it off with Eric Bischoff being blamed for something that they've been doing for years, and that's being a total, complete travesty of a company. And you've got one big mess. You've got one massive, huge mess. So then we go to the back, and we've got Otis, and he's swallowing pancake batter. This guy is entertaining. He looks like he belongs. I really like his style and everything. Him it's all about having fun, but he actually looks like, he's having fun out there, and it's not annoying like the New Day. But what is this nonsense? Kofi Kingston playing with pancake batter in his hands, and then Otis just I don't know. This is disgusting and it's stupid. Why does this need to be there? It really is the lowest common denominator. Guys, you're on Fox. This is... Do you realize, what type of comedies were on Fox? You know what I mean? That have aired on Fox. Seinfeld was on Fox, when it went to reruns. Family Guy was on Fox, debuted on Fox. American Dad. The Simpsons. I mean, Fox has seen some shows, that have been quite popular, especially if you factor in comedy alone. So when you get stupid, really extremely lowbrow, childish, kindergarten, I thought they were trying to get away from PG, this stupid humor, and I am begging them, please break up the New Day, put Big E on his own. It's quite obvious that this team has run its course. I don't care how many of these goofballs in the crowd wear, pink t-shirts, purple t-shirts. It doesn't matter to me. Your ratings are dropping. This is goofball programming. This is hey ho programming, and you've got to stop. I mean, it's trust me, it wasn't Eric Bischoff. It's all of you over there at the WWE. This is plain garbage. I mean, it's hot garbage. It's flaming hot garbage. It's not funny. It's not fun. And, despite what Michael Cole tells you, it's not all about having fun, because no one's having fun when watching this show. They're miserable. They're tuning out. They're tuning out in droves. These ratings should tell you something. And I know that they're going to say, well, people didn't come back the previous week because of Eric Bischoff. And that's just not the case. You just are having bad shows. You can't blame Eric Bischoff for this. I mean, that just annoys me to no end. Bischoff's a talented guy. He's a sleazeball. You've seen all the things that he's done. Basically, I gotta tell you, basically everything that Vince Russo gets blamed for, you could pretty much put that on Bischoff or Cornette. But these guys always come out looking bright and shiny. They're backstabbers. They do what they gotta do, and they don't care who they hurt. But I gotta say, I like Bischoff way more than I like Cornette. And I really, really would have liked to see Bischoff do an on-screen role. It's a real shame. I really enjoyed him back during the Ruthless Aggression. Hey, I'm talking more about the Ruthless Aggression era. I mean, so I'll do that for now on. If you guys don't want to hear me talking about the Attitude Era, I'm still going to talk about it. But maybe I should bring out more bright spots in the Ruthless Aggression era, just to vary it up a little bit. But, Bischoff was brilliant on his on-screen role during the Ruthless Aggression era. I really liked it, and I was disappointed not to see him. I mean, Bischoff, on Fox, that would just be great. People would definitely remember him, returning viewers. So, I don't know. Maybe if you put Bischoff on TV, that might have had more eyes on it. But of course not. They got to just fire him because, hey, we're holding you responsible for the draft. How can you, when there's so many people writing these shows, an obscene amount of people, how can one man be blamed for it? I fail to understand how Bischoff is the sole culprit for SmackDown's complete failure on Fox. So then we get a match, and first he's introduced to us as Shorty Gable. Shorty Gable. We talked about this already, right? We talked about this on SmackDown last time, right? Shorty Gable. So he beats Curtis Axel, so nothing says, welcome to Fox like beating Mr. Perfect's son. This would have been the opportunity here. It's Fox. We've got whatever's left of the new audience that's engaged by the new Fox platform. Go for it. Make something out of Curtis Axel. You've done nothing with him for 8 years. You might as well do something with him, right? This is your time to repackage him. Maybe people haven't seen the past exploits and the complete failure of Joe Henning here. Maybe, just maybe, you can turn the tables on this guy's career, have him start anew. What people are blind to could benefit you, but of course not. Oh, of course not. You've got to just have him get squashed. And at the end of the match, he's got Kayla Braxton, the interviewer, coming up to him, and he's like, you know what? Let's shorten it up a little bit. I'm now Shorty G. First of all, it's probably not a bright idea to define one's weakness. Now, there was an interesting perspective. Somebody in my Dynamite review from this week brought up a point. At least with a guy like Marco Stunt, at least they admit that he is a small guy. But that still doesn't change the fact that he wrestles like he's invincible. That's unacceptable. You know, you want to know how you book a small guy? Take a look at X-Pac. I was just watching it just yesterday. You were watching X-Pac. JR would be hard selling that this guy has got a heart like no other. And, you know, so you believe that he could survive a little bit with the bigger guys based on that great commentary storytelling and the look of X-Pac. He didn't really look like a weakling, you know, and he really wasn't that small. You know, he was still a guy that was over 6 feet, so he was just, you know, smaller framed. So you believed in X-Pac. This is not the same thing. X-Pac wasn't kicking out of every single move that was, you know, and there also wasn't 100 moves being applied to him either. So, you know, I'm sorry, but still I get the point. The announcers are acknowledging that he's short. So, you know, you could still carry that mentality over, I guess, to Shorty Gable or Shorty G now. You know, first of all, this is a really stupid. Do I even need to say that it's stupid? I mean, really, do I need to describe it? Do I really need to put it in words? Well, this is a review, so I guess I do. But, I mean, honestly, like, I think that almost everybody agrees that this is a really bad idea for a character, if you could even call it that. I mean, honestly, you see, like, last week, the Round Table, Andre the Giant, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Hulk Hogan, all these guys that are no longer in the WWE, that not one person being put over from the current roster. And then, you know, and then you take a look at Shorty G and you understand exactly why that is. Like, he's embracing that he's short. Michael Cole saying, oh, what an inspirational speech. No, it wasn't. It sounded sad. It sounded pathetic. I will say this, that Gable doesn't sound as whiny as he did. He doesn't sound as Rollinsy, you know, the tone of voice. That's completely gone. For some reason, I don't know why, he sounded better. He sounded more masculine. But I mean, forget about that. This promo. I mean, they're sealing this guy's fate. I mean, you're calling him Shorty G. That, like, I mean, honestly, is that really where we want to go with this guy? I mean, I gotta even admit, like, he's a talented guy. The guy's got a good physique. He's short. I get it, but like, this is what you're all about. You're all about the smaller guys. You've got Seth Rollins beating up the Fiend. You know, and look what he looks like. You know, I understand that he's like over 6 feet tall, but he's not much. So, you know, this has been all, you know, you're trying to sell Kevin Owens as the next Stone Cold Steve Austin, Stun Owens Stun, you know, like, so, and he's just a fat dude. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to sell out of shape Samoa Joe as a tough guy. You see what I'm saying? So, if this is the era of the schmucks, why can't Chad Gable, a guy who's actually in shape? I mean, I'm not a big Gable fan, but I recognize that the guy is talented. I'm not going to bury the guy. I never really have. I just said that at one time, you know, he was tagging with Shelton Benjamin, that, like, he was actually holding Shelton back because I like Shelton Benjamin a lot. And I was like, judging by today's crowd, Shelton Benjamin should be a world champion. I mean, he looked like he had so much potential back in the day, but, you know, somewhere along the way he got buried. You know, they just had no idea what to do with Shelton back in the day, but somehow Benjamin still remained relevant as like an intercontinental champion. Nowadays, I mean, you know, Benjamin has just been, he's getting buried by Ricochet on Raw. So, but this ain't about Benjamin. This is about Shorty G and just how sad of a segment this was. This was sad. This was depressing. You watch this promo and you see how WWE has no respect for any of their talents. You know, like, whether it be just guys that you don't like or anything. Like guys, let's talk about this because I really haven't You know, like, you guys know that I always said that Finn Balor didn't belong. The guy didn't deserve to be there since day one. And, you know, I think I've stayed strong to my viewpoints more than anyone else has here on YouTube. But even I gotta say, how are you gonna make this guy the first ever Universal Champion? He gets injured wrestling for you, putting his body on the line, and then you're gonna send him back to developmental? And I don't care what anyone says, Kenny Omega's 100% right. NXT is developmental. No matter which way you slice it, that's the former FCW. That's what it is. It was always developmental. It still is developmental. And I don't care what anyone says. NXT is a much smaller stage. Anyone who says, oh, this guy was way over when he was in NXT, that's because he's performing in front of 500 people. Go watch a Ring of Honor show. You'll see what I'm talking about. So, you know, I don't know where people get their ideas from. But, like, you know, this is what I'm saying. How they take these guys, they put so much stock into him in you know, in times of they, you know, and then they send them back to NXT. But the same thing's probably gonna happen with Gable. Where do you think that this guy's gonna go with the name Shorty G? Even if they take the name off of him, the damage has already been done. No one respects the guy. Nobody even knows who the guy is besides the diehards. So it's like, okay, you know, what are we supposed to think about this? How could a guy, like, I understand what they're trying to do here. Okay, so his greatest weakness is his height. The kid's got a great body. He wrestles great. He's a collegiate wrestler. He's got accolades like Kurt Angle. But his height. So what we got to do is we got to make like he's comfortable with his height. And, you know, and I get it. And like short people such as myself, maybe we could be, you know, inspired by this character. No, you don't want to give anyone else a character, but this is the guy that you want to give a character to, and this is the character that you want. How do they work? I just don't get the mentality. We don't want to build stars. We don't want characters. But hey, let's make a short character. Like, what is the deal here? Corbin makes fun of Finn Balor's height. Then Big Cass makes fun of Daniel Bryan's height. You know, if you don't like short guys, then why are you putting them at the top? I don't get it. Why are these guys? Why is Triple H bowing down to NXT with all short guys and everything? Adam Cole is the champion. Johnny Gargano, you know, Tomato Tomato Sauce. I mean, I don't get it. If you don't like the short guys, why are you pushing them? It could, because the thing is, they're not even getting ratings. They're not making your show accelerate. They're not making it entertaining. And it's, I mean, okay, it's not their fault because it's also creative and everything. It's all the management decisions. It's everything. It's everything all together. So it's not Eric Bischoff, guys. It's all you. Take a look at the roster. Take a look at the writing. Take a look at Shorty G. Oh my God. Like, I just can't believe that, like, how does this make it to the show? Even if they rewrote the show at the last minute, someone has to be reviewing this. So, you know, first of all, because he was Shorty Gable on Raw, you know, he was Shorty Gable last week on SmackDown. How did he became Shorty G? It got even worse. It wasn't enough that people would know. So if they're catering to the fans, they see that people are not happy and thinking it's a stupid idea. How do they say, well, Shorty Gable's a bad idea, but Shorty G's a great idea? Like, oh my God. Picard facepalm much? I mean, like, really? Like, just... where are their minds at? What's the mentality that goes into this? Alright, I could go on about this all day. It's just that dumb. But anyway, we move on. And Hulk Hogan is on Skype. What's the problem with this? Okay, okay, first of all, I get it. Hulk Hogan is not there You know, he's in Venice Beach, California. He's at the Hogan, you know, body shop with the merchandise and everything. I get it. So he Skypes. He's using like a laptop microphone, which sounds like he's underwater. And I get they want to have that authentic feel and everything, but you're on Fox. You can't get a camera crew down there. What happened when The Rock... Remember when The Rock turned heel in 2003? Remember they had him like live via satellite? Top quality picture and everything, crystal clear. Why are we getting a subpar image and subpar sound? This is Fox. You've got new camera angles. Brad, but I'm saying you want to say like, oh, okay, but he's coming from abroad and everything, like from a remote location. He's in California, and this is Fox, and I've already mentioned The Rock doing things via satellite. It's been done before. It's even been done on episodes of Raw with people that weren't even The Rock doing things via satellite. Right? They've done this with Brock Lesnar or Paul Heyman. They've done it with other people. So you're telling me that this is the best that they could do for Hulk Hogan? How much money are they getting paid by Fox? How much money are they getting paid by Saudi Arabia? And they're having Hulk Hogan come to you live on Skype? A free program that you could download, and they've got all this state-of-the-art editing and cameras and stuff, like tens of thousands of dollars worth in state-of-the-art equipment, millions of dollars when you count the whole entire production truck and everything like that. I mean, like, are you joking with this? This is something you'd expect to see from Impact Wrestling. This is something that even AEW probably wouldn't do. I'm just saying, like, how are they not on their game? This is unacceptable. And then Hogan is talking about potential stars, because I think Seth Rollins isn't going to be on his Hogan team versus Flair. And then he talks about prospective talents. Ali, Mustafa Ali, Shorty G. I never thought I'd ever hear the words Shorty G leave Hulk Hogan's mouth. But rest assured, they have. And, I mean, need I say more? Hulk Hogan is impressed by Shorty G. Hulk Hogan has wrestled the Macho Man Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior. Hulk Hogan has wrestled The Rock in one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. This guy's been in there with the very best. I mean, and he's impressed by Shorty G and Mustafa Ali. This guy filmed Rocky with Sylvester Stallone. And this guy is impressed by Mustafa Ali and Shorty G. Am I supposed to really believe this? Live on Skype, ladies and gentlemen. Holy mackerel. I mean, what's going on here, guys? It was Bischoff, right? It was Bischoff. It's all his fault, right? It's his fault for putting Hogan on Skype. It's his fault for Shorty G. Oh, that's right. We fired him. Yeah, so it's, hey, Bruce, were you the one who wrote this show? So what's going on here, what's going on there, brother love? I love you. Well, I didn't love this show. Like, oh my lord, what was this? Okay, so we've got New Day and Heavy Machinery, and they defeated Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, and the Revival. And I don't know what to say here, but like, point, purpose, was there anything to this? It's just random. There's no reason to have this. I guess to show the Fox audience Otis doing the caterpillar. Okay, great. You remember years back on UPN, Scotty 2 Hotty doing the same move. Like guys, I'm not saying that you don't have some talented people in here, but that's exactly my point. You've got Bobby Roode in there. You've got Dolph Ziggler. You've got some charismatic individuals. You got Otis. And this is how you're using them. I mean, I don't know. I guess they put all their creative juices into Shorty G. I mean, guys, Shorty G. How can you possibly, focus on anything else when you've got the pure majesty of Shorty G? I mean, I'm surprised, that they were able to be so creative on this show, given that they put all their creative juices into Shorty G. I mean, dear Lord. Oh my God. Anyway, so I was just checking something right here because I saw that I forgot to write something down about Hulk Hogan's pick. I guess I wanted to tell that to you guys. So anyway, they have the match. New Day and Heavy Machinery go over. Then we've got Miz TV. We've got Bayley and Sasha Banks. And, Miz accuses Bayley of being, Brock Lesnar, that she's having Sasha Banks talk for her. And, Bayley gets on the mic and proceeds to cut one of the most scripted sounding promos of all time. And then to top it all off, she steals a line from one of Vince McMahon's greatest promos of all time. So, oh my God, just how bad is Bayley? How bad was screw you? Oh my God. Oh jeez. Wow. Wow. I don't know what to say here, but they're doing a comparison on on WWE.com. Vince McMahon and Bayley doing the "Life sucks and then you die" promo, and when Vince did it, it was hilarious. It was funny. It got heat. Everyone loved it. The McMahon voice, the McMahon character, McMahon facial expression, the McMahon body language, the McMahon mannerisms. Vince McMahon is a genius. He's probably one of the greatest characters of all time. He's probably one of the greatest promo guys of all time. And he's not even a wrestler. He's a promoter. But Vince McMahon is a talented guy. I think almost everyone in the industry who's maybe even had a negative experience with Vince McMahon will probably admit to you that Vince McMahon is a talented individual. But Bayley is not. Especially when it comes to being on the mic. I mean, this is the funny thing. Remember, when you weren't enjoying... Remember, The Rock becoming a heel, it was amazing, that these people that could work this heel style make you hate them, and you loved it, and you loved to hate them. But Bayley she made in this segment, made being a heel look completely lame. And it just solidified that it means nothing to turn heel nowadays. The only person that made it mean anything was Daniel Bryan last year when he turned heel. That actually meant something. But of course they took that character away from him because it was too good. Of course. Have to take that away from him, right? You can't let talented people do talented things, WWE, right? Because it's all Bischoff's fault. So anyway, Bayley makes a fool out of herself. It doesn't even make any sense. I get it, she's down on herself and everything. So is it supposed to be that this heel has no, what Miz said, that, that you have no self-esteem, that you have no self-confidence, and she just says life sucks and then you die? Because Vince McMahon was saying that to the crowd because he was saying, you work, every day of your life, you work your fingers to your bone, and I'm a billionaire and you'll never be that. So it's McMahon was getting so much heat with the class warfare stuff, and he just had it all on point. I mean, so Bayley doing it like 19 years later, and it was a complete and utter fail. And Bayley is the cringe master. There was the shock master at one time. She is the cringe master. I mean, holy cow. I mean, this was just bad. And like the stops and the pushes and like just stop. There's no way that this girl should be representing your women's division when this is supposed to be what, you know, this is supposed to define women's wrestling. Because if this is what's supposed to define women's wrestling, you're not doing a very good job. But it's Bischoff's fault, right? Get that guy out of here. He's a bum, right? Bischoff with all that great charisma. Get him out of there. He's got bad ideas. Oh yeah, that's right. He's not there anymore. So are they gonna blame Bischoff for this terrible promo from Bayley too? I guess so, right? It's all his fault. That's why they fired him. Nikki Cross wins a 6-pack challenge. I think it was 6 people in there. So like, I don't get this. So like, not only the guy during the draft that, you know, sports commentator, you know, ESPN style guy, you know, he talked about the draft and, you know, how Sonya Deville was going to be like the diamond in the rough. That was going to be like the big MVP pick. She was in the match. Like, this is the opportunity. And you had like other people saying that like Sonya Deville is very promising and that, you know, she shows potential. I forgot who said that, but people were saying that about Deville. And I agree. You know, like, you've got a lot going for this girl, right? So, you know, like the audience, you know, you've got like you've got a new demographic you could get there, right? LBGT, you could get that because, you know, you've got Sonya Deville, right? You've got a lesbian girl right there, but that's not all because she's actually talented. She's a former MMA girl. I told you, put her against Ronda Rousey, but of course the first time they got in contact, Rousey just, you know, obliterated her. So, you know, there you go. The only believable opponent for Ronda Rousey, you know, just whisked away in one night. So, you know, here we go. Here's another opportunity. Like I said, the same deal with Curtis Axel. You could turn it all around, erase the past. Nope. She instead give it to Nikki Cross because why not? So, you know, and then you get this really lame, like, Nikki Cross staring over the top rope at Bayley. No brawl, no nothing. They're just staring at one another. Okay, you know, like, all right, like, are we supposed to be like, wow, this is a face-to-face like no other? I mean, this is like Hulk Hogan and The Rock face-to, like, get out of here with this absolute garbage. No effort. You know, just like total disregard for where you are. You're on Fox, guys, and this is the garbage you're putting forth as your ratings plummet. I know you're all like, oh, we gotta do good, we gotta do right by the Saudis. Like, it doesn't matter even if you put on a horrible show in Saudi Arabia. It's not gonna matter. Show's gonna be garbage anyway over there too. So you might as well just, you know, focus on Fox. Like, you've got a $1 billion deal here to take care of on TV. You know, like, I don't know how much Fox is going to tolerate this show being as bad as it is and the ratings continue to plummet. Like, this just looks really bad for Fox. Even if this show, you know, even if this is performing better than whatever was on at 8 o'clock previously on Friday nights. I think at one time it was the UFC. But, like, I don't know. But they got to be looking at this being like, what is going on with this show? The first week it draws wonderful. I'm sure they were very happy with WWE. And now they're seeing this progressively, you know, cycle where it's just getting worse and worse. Then we had Braun Strowman defeated Drew Gulak. And I don't know because I don't watch 205 Live, but I assume that Gulak stopped that PowerPoint presentation stuff once Enzo left. But apparently he tried doing it. He was saying, you're not gonna win against Tyson Fury if you do that monster stuff. And this actually I found pretty comical because the monster stuff has run its course and everything. You know, it's just like getting stupid already. You know, with Braun on Raw breaking tables and stuff like that. Like, this guy just has no credibility left. And let's talk about the Tyson Fury thing here for a moment. If this guy don't get laid out by Tyson Fury in 10 seconds, it's going to look just totally unbelievable. I'm going to eye roll. I will face palm. I will cringe until the cows come home. We're talking about a professional world champion boxer, heavyweight boxer. And Braun Strowman is going to go toe-to-toe with this guy because his gimmick is, get these hands. Get out of here. You know, that's a reason to have a boxer versus wrestler. This is stupid. It's not going to work. It's dumb. And you're not... This is like, no one even cares about it, really. This is not even getting any attention for Raw because the ratings are in the toilet. Then Hulk Hogan announces his team. And I was looking at this before. You had... where did he announce this on the show? I think Michael Cole got word. He said that Hulk Hogan and Flair are going to be on SmackDown next week. And the Hogan's team is going to be Ali, Rusev, Ricochet, Shorty G, and Roman Reigns. Like, you got... So, let's go over this here for a moment. Because I didn't see this when this announcement was made on SmackDown. That part I didn't watch. So, let me get this straight. So, Hogan is picking Ali. That speaks for itself. Rusev, who's like playing the role of a cuck currently on Raw. Ricochet, you know, like beta much. Shorty G, we talked enough about him, and Roman Reigns. So really, by process of elimination here, Roman Reigns is the only guy with any sort of credibility at all on this team. I mean, like, are you serious? Like, with this team? Compared to, what was Hogan's team in TNA? Like, what was, let's see. Oh, okay. You had Team Hogan. It was Abyss, Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam, and Jeff Jarrett versus Team Flair, Sting, James Storm, Bobby Roode, and Desmond Wolfe. I mean, you've got some big-time players there. You know, you've got Sting on Team Flair. You've got Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam and Jeff Jarrett. You know, a bunch of legends right there. And Ali, Shorty G, it really just shows you, like, this roster and how poorly developed it is, because most of these guys are jokes. Look at Rusev with his stupid little mustache, and, you know, he's getting all upset because Bobby Lashley has been messing around with Lana, this really stupid storyline that's like going nowhere, and it's just embarrassing and just demeaning to Rusev. And it's like doing nothing for his character. They just basically swiped him out from Mike Bennett. You know, that's so I don't know really what to say here. So let's that's just total garbage. So Strowman ends up just crushing Gulak, you know, in the other match. And you've got Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns defeating Nakamura and Baron Corbin. This was an entertaining match. I will say it was like a nice, quick, short match with a lot of action. Daniel Bryan hits the running knee on Nakamura. Of course, champions always lose in tag matches, so why not? Roman Reigns does the spear through Baron, you know, spearing Baron Corbin into the Timekeeper's area, you know, through the barricade, the spot that we've seen 1,000 times. So we just basically yawn when we see it, because, like, this spot would have been amazing if it was just shown at a WrestleMania, but, like, We've seen this spear 1,000 times going through the barricade. It's been done to death. So, like, here you just see it, and I guess if you're a new viewer to Fox, then okay. But aside from that, we're just like, okay, so, like, what do you say about this show? Okay, so, like, a decent main event, an enjoyable match to end it. But this show was, from top to bottom, completely awful, terrible. Shorty G, a Bayley promo, you know, stupid segments with the New Day. You know, just so much cringe-tastic stuff. I mean, you've got just, like, so much nonsense on here. Is it really any surprise that the ratings fell again? Like, what are people supposed to be watching this show for? What are we staying tuned for? What was good on this show? What was must-see TV? You know, I mean, like, it's just amazing to think that SmackDown once beat out Friends. It beat must-see TV at one point. That was 19 years ago. And now to think, like, this is the garbage that we're getting right now. I mean, like, I don't know what to say. I mean, there's no defense for this at all. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, like, so the question is, was this better than Dynamite? I'm having a hard time deciding on that. I guess I will say that Dynamite was slightly better because it, you know, didn't have so many cringeworthy moments. I mean, I don't know. I cringe at the matches. They were completely ridiculous and overblown. But I don't know. I just felt like maybe more effort was applied to Dynamite. I don't know. I didn't enjoy either show. I'm just kind of fishing there. But whatever, guys. Horrible show. Their performance on Fox has been completely abysmal. I would not be surprised if the ratings drop again next week. You know, but of course it was Bischoff's fault. So, you know. Oh my god, guys. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. And guys, I'll see you next time.